It's the Garnet Trust Hour.
And our guest, unfortunately, got held up by a train for a few minutes. Now, we were talking about a few minutes ago, it's going to be weird to say former Gamecock tight end Nate Atkins. Welcome to the studio, Nate. How you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
Some of the trains you can try to go around, and you run into the same train, like they trick you.
And I pulled up, and it was just now starting. I heard it. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. The thing just went down.
107.5, The Game.
And welcome into the Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game. Tyler Head, Chris Clark along with you, welcoming in our special guest today. And I've said this over the past couple of days. It kind of feels weird to say this now because we have to. Former South Carolina Gamecock wide receiver Josh Vann in studio with us. Josh, thank you so much for joining us, and excited to talk to you today.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I just thank y'all for having me here today, and just hope we have a great session today.
No, absolutely, going to be a lot of fun. And like I mentioned, it is kind of weird, Chris, to say former South Carolina wide receiver because he's been here forever. It seems like.
No, we're still in denial. Josh is still here. He's like Nate Atkins. We asked Nate, we're like, all right, man, you sure you don't have an extra year, just laying around in the couch cushion somewhere,
like an extra COVID year or something.
An extra COVID year. Man, it has been crazy though, Josh. You remember? So you were in the 2018 class.
Yeah.
And that was actually the first year that there was an early signing period.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember being at your school early that morning because you did sign in December.
Yeah.
And I remember being at your school that morning and signing. It was a big pickup at the time for the Gamecocks. But that seems like a long time ago, right?
Yeah, man. It's freaking, what was that, 5 years ago?
5 years ago, pretty much. I mean, it'll be 5 years in December, I guess.
Yeah, man. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Just being able to sign early in December, and just looking through all the years and everything that I've accomplished, and just all the different teams for those 5 years, and just seeing where I am now is it's crazy.
It is crazy. It was really awesome the other day. So this kind of hit me when we were out there at Pro Day the other day, you working out, and you're out there running, preparing for your NFL dream after, kind of everything just coming full circle from the high school level. Your daughter's out there running around. So let's get some dad stories, first of all. How old is your daughter now?
She's 15 months. So,
yeah.
For people that don't know that, I'm still, getting accustomed to that. She's 1, 1 in 3 months, I guess. But like I said, just earlier talking to you guys before we started today, I was just with her this morning. She woke up with a poopy diaper, so I had to change that. And before I had to leave, she wanted to poop again, so had to change that again. Man, she's always into stuff. We got a couch, so if I just so happen to just sit on the floor, she already got that drilled in her mind to hop on the couch and just run off the couch. So she know I'm a catcher. So, man, it's crazy. She's counting from 1 to 10 already. Always saying dad, dad, mama, always clapping, and man, it's just crazy. Like I say, I would have never thought that I would have a kid this early, but now that she's here, I just can't do nothing but thank God every day. Just to be able to raise something that special. So.
Well, you mentioned the diaper. I mean, you're doing better than DeCarrion, because did you hear his story the other day?
No.
So he had his little girl recently, and he was talking with the media guys this week, and they're like, give us a dad story. And he was like, man, I thought I was going to take this one to the grave. But he said when he took her to a doctor's appointment the other day, the doctor was like, all right, can you give her a clean diaper so we can weigh her? And he didn't even have a diaper on.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey,
that's the worst.
One?
That's the worst. When we had to travel down to Charleston one time, and I forgot all her stuff.
Oh, no.
We had went to Hilton Head one time. I forgot her crib. I forgot her playpen, her packing play that turns into a crib. I forgot that. I forgot the diaper bag. Hey, man, it happens.
It does happen, man. It's a lot of stress. Not a lot of sleep. You're running on little sleep. Your decision making isn't the best.
Man, it all happens. It all happens very fast. But we live and we learn every day. And you just try to wake up the next day and say, okay, I'm not gonna make this mistake today. So, what can I do to make that better? So.
Yeah, it does take practice, just like on the field. What's your most indispensable tool for child rearing? Is it the pack and play? Is it something else? You got like a go-to, if you can remember it. I've forgotten all the stuff too in the past.
If it's a go-to right now, I'll just bring out a little basketball.
Oh,
And if she's crying and she see the little basketball, she'll just start playing with
dribbling
that.
it around a little bit, dunking.
Yeah.
You got her a little goal.
Yeah.
Well, something else we got to do. We asked you last year about your starting five from the football team, and we need to update that to make sure.
Shoot, I gotta go back there and
We ask every single football player their starting five.
Well, I'll still be in the starting five.
Oh, I know.
I'll still be at the starting five.
I think, we only had one that didn't include themselves in the starting five. Was that Doty?
Yeah, Luke did not put himself in the starting five.
Well, I can agree with it. I can agree with Luke.
Ooh. But he's not even mad at you. He didn't even pretend. He was just like, nah, I'm not in it.
Luke is a hustle player. So, if I would have Luke definitely coming off the bench. And,
Did anybody have Josh in their starting five?
I can't remember. We need like a full listing,
Yeah.
Of all times. Like we just need to plaster it up here so we can kind of keep track of it. There's some carryover with some guys that
There's some guys that show up on just about every single team.
Yeah, they make about every team. Like I think TJ Sanders made most teams.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard Boogie's team?
Who do he have?
But it's scary. It's scary though.
Whole bunch of big guys.
A whole bunch of big guys.
A team that's going to be very good on defense physically.
It was scary though. It was like him, Nick Barrett.
Mm-hmm. Was it
Tonka might have been?
I think Tonka's on there.
Was it all them?
Birch might have been on his team.
Pretty much, you're just going to have to pull up from three every single time. You're not getting in the paint.
I already know. I had to play against them. We went to the Strong, and I had to play against. We lost, but my team wasn't really that good.
Oh, so you didn't have your hand-selected, hand-picked starting five?
I'll play basketball with anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm that good.
Have you seen Spencer play?
I actually haven't seen Spencer play.
You hadn't seen his highlight tape?
Mm-mm.
Dude.
I heard he can play, though.
He can. State champ in high school. And he got, I don't want to say he got mad at me, but when he was in here, I say he disagreed with me because I was watching his tape
mm-hmm.
and I was like, hey, you got kind of like that quarterback mentality, like pass first. And he's like, nah, I'm score first. But he's got it. I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna queue up his highlight tape for you during the break. I'm gonna send it to you. He can play. I think he put himself on his team. He had a pretty good squad too, as I remember.
Yeah, from what I remember, we'll have to go back and listen to see what his full team was. But I can't remember if anybody had Josh on their team or not.
I think so. Darius Rush, that was one.
I'll be shocked if nobody had me on his team.
Cam Smith, I don't think made a team.
I don't think so.
Which is kind of surprising. I feel like he'd probably be good at defense. He'd be like super annoying to play against.
Maybe.
Might get in foul trouble pretty quickly.
Yeah, he'd probably get in foul trouble pretty quick.
Might.
All right, Josh, let's go back to Pro Day real quick. Or let's go back even farther than that. So your senior season,
Mm-hmm.
Tough into it, right? Because you made a great catch in that Clemson game and kind of looked like you came down the wrong way on the knee, so you had to miss the bowl game. But I don't even think we know a lot really about that process. So if you want to go into it, tell us a little bit about that injury and kind of the process to come back. 'Cause, man, you look fully healthy at Pro Day here recently.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like I said, everything happened so fast. I was even shocked when it happened. More so scared. If anybody see it and watch the game, that's why I was down so long, just because I was just scared. But thankfully, nothing bad happened. I just had an LCL strain. Nothing was torn. Of course, everything was just swollen pretty bad from like literally from my butt all the way down to my calf.
Ooh.
So yeah, it was pretty bad. When it happened, of course, like, I'm trying to get back out there and play. They took me under the tent. And, Dr. Guy was like, "Yeah, man, you're done." And, I was upset, but about 5 minutes went by. I couldn't put no pressure on it, so I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna just, I'm just have to deal with it." But just support my teammates and, just happy that we came out with a win that day. But yeah, that process, it was very, very, very long. Headed down to Pensacola, Florida, to train with Exos, and it was a lot of I'm not so much of a mental freak, but it was a lot of dark days for me just because that's the first time I've ever had a knee injury, and like I said, thankfully nothing was torn, but it was just. Getting up in the morning, one, you got to make yourself get up in the morning. There's nobody, nobody checking in on you, calling your phone to get you up. So one, you got to get yourself up. And, you got to like, okay, I'm going to go to work today. And then, when I do get to the facility, I can't do anything. I got to see everybody else, see all the other players from all over compete and, get better. And, I'm just literally watching from the windows. Like I said, we're inside right now, so that's kind of like what I was doing, just inside, sitting on the trainer bed, and just watching, just doing a whole bunch of rehab training. Like I said, I couldn't do anything because my knee was still swollen. That's how pretty bad it was. But saying eventually I was able to get out there. The doctor down there put me in a knee brace, first time ever. It was so ugly, but but I had to do what I had to do, and like I said, it was a lot of dark days where I just didn't want to do anything, man, because it was hard. Like I said, everything is mental. You see us athletes out there, and you think, everybody has a lot of athletic ability and physical talents, but it all comes from the brain, and you got to tell yourself, you really got to motivate yourself, like I got to go to work and I got to do what I got to do today. So, just to be able to put all that together and, go out there last Monday, just showcase everything that I'm, capable of. It was really good to experience and show that.
All right, we're here on the Garnet Trust Hour with Josh Vann. Tyler, we got to take a quick time out real quick, but when we come back, talk with Josh more about fatherhood, look back at his Carolina career, and forward to his future in the NFL.
Yeah, as we head into this break, I want to let you know about the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Classic coming up tomorrow at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. If you want to take part in it, give Charwood a call at 803-755-2000. Register. It's going to be $100 per person and $400 per team. Josh is actually going to be hanging out with us for a little bit tomorrow. Very excited for that. Got a lot of cool prizes to give away, including some autographed gear from various Gamecock athletes. One lucky person going to win season tickets to all remaining USC baseball games. And we also have a tailgating spot to give away for the upcoming Carolina Cup. Lunch will also be provided by Firehouse Subs. And if that's not enticing enough for you, it's also going to be beautiful weather, temperatures in the 80s, a perfect day for golf. So don't miss your chance to be a part of the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Classic. More with Josh Vann on the Garnet Trust Hour coming up next on 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game. A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. It's the Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
And welcome back into the Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game. Tyler Head and Chris Clark along with you. Special guest today, former South Carolina wide receiver Josh Vann. And Josh Vann not only going to be in here today, also going to be hanging out with us tomorrow at the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Classic out at the Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. Josh, got to ask, how good of a golfer are you?
Not that good.
Not good?
But hey, y'all can show me a little something out there. So I'm able to be able to pick up a few tips from you guys.
I told somebody the other day, you need to get like a copy of like Tiger Woods PGA 08 or something and just like brush up on it real quick, improve your game between now and tomorrow.
Oh, well, if I got to do that, is what I got to do, man.
You think Are you going to be more of like a finesse golfer? Or are you just going to I'm going to hit it as hard as I can?
I'm gonna just go out there and hit it. I'm gonna try to finesse it though. My biggest thing, I like to putt. I like to do mini golf. So
okay.
I like to do putt, but I'm not that good at that either. But I just like it. So
Now, when you say hit it as hard as you can, I think of Happy Gilmore and just
yeah,
smacking it.
Absolutely, smash it. Now, some of your guys on your former team, I'm having a hard time adjusting that. Some of your former teammates on the team now say they're really good golfers.
Oh yeah, they're it's a lot of guys that definitely went golfing. I think Luke golfs.
Yeah.
Jalen Dickerson golfs.
Does Jalen? I didn't know that one.
Yeah, all them.
Spencer's a big golfer.
Yeah,
big golfer. Another big golfer is in studio with us too now. Jeremy Smith, Garnet Trust, big time golfer.
Yeah, big time is, and I go out a lot, but I don't know how great I am at golf. But I tell you what, the special teams unit though at USC, man, those are some serious golfers.
Yeah, it's Kai. Kai's apparently really good. Kai's good at. Is there anything Kai can't do, Josh? Have you ever seen him
I think
fail at anything?
Kai can do everything. I think I haven't seen anything that he can't do. So no, I believe he can. I believe he got that swing going.
We got a lot of stuff to still get to with you, Josh, here on the Garnet Trust Hour. Here's a completely random question. There's absolutely no segue whatsoever to this. Catching punts. All right. Me not being a football player, obviously, if you couldn't tell. Catching a punt to me seems like probably the most nerve-wracking play in football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're talking about a dude. Imagine a Kai Kroger punting the ball into orbit, and then it's coming down at you. It's top spinning. You've got 10 to 11 guys running at you full speed, trying to destroy you while you're trying to catch the ball. Mm-hmm. Are you just is it kind of just no big deal to you?
With a whole bunch of practice and prayer, yes, it is. It is no big deal, but just any given moment, you can slip up and lose focus. But like I said, I practiced on it a lot. Like I said, I did it in middle school, high school, so I just did it through my 5 years in college. So, I guess my tip that I use, you got to see the ball off the, like I said, if Kyle was kicking it, he's a lefty. So, every kick is different,
mm-hmm.
from a righty or a lefty. So I see the ball off the foot, and, that kind of just give me a guess of where the ball is going. And depending on how the spin is, if it comes out like a quarterback threw it, it's going to go far. If it comes out we call it a duck, where it's just all flappy, it's going to fall short. Like you said, if the ball turns over, it's going to come down far. If the ball is just staying up high, it's going to fall short. So, you just see the ball off his foot. And so I see the ball, I look at the ball, and for a slight half a second, I look to see where, the coverage team is at. And that will kind of give me an idea if I want to return the ball or, fair catch it. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, if you got to secure the catch. And if it's a guy, I promise you, if you watch this throughout all college football, NFL, the first guy always misses. He always misses. They teach to break down, and but for some reason, the first guy never does it. I say 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to make the tackle, but 9 times out of 10, that first person's always going to miss. So, you just make sure you catch it first and then, give a little side step. He's going to fly right by you. And, that's where you make, make the rest of your moves at. So
there was one last year, Wes and I talk about all the time. Can't remember the game. Maybe Wes remembers, or you might remember. You called it off your shoe tops. I don't know if you saw it a little bit late.
I think that was, it was a home game, wasn't it?
It was casual, though.
I'm going to get in on this. I love this conversation. I think it was SC State, maybe? It was definitely a home game because the whole crowd was like, oh, and Josh just I got it. It's cool.
I think it was probably, I feel like it was probably A&M, but I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but I think I know what you're talking about because I was facing the student section,
mm-hmm.
and I was almost next to the end zone, next to the 2001 end zone. And yeah, I definitely, you got to see the ball through. And so like I said, that ball, it never turned over.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm expecting it to come like where I was, and it just felt a little short. But, you see the ball all the way through and, caught it with my fingertips.
So, Josh, you said that you have to glance at the defenders coming down. At what point when the ball goes up, is that right after it's kicked that you sort of get a little feel? So after that point, you're obviously tracking the football.
Yeah.
Can you feel the gunners and defenders coming in? Do you have any feel for where they are at that point?
Like I said, I believe I know that I have, pretty good awareness of, what's around me and stuff like that. So, like I said, with a whole bunch of practice, like I said, you see the ball, it's like boom, boom. It's see a kick, look, and then look back at the ball. So, you know what I'm saying? So, by me looking at the coverage team, if I see the gunners running free, I'm probably not going to return it just because, if I see that, the hold-up team got a half a second block, holding them up, then, it's a slight chance that I'll be able to return this one. And one, not get busted up. But, two, just be able to make a good enough return. So, it's pretty challenging. It's tough. Like you said, not your average Joe will be able to go out there and do that. Like you said, just earlier you said you was watching the offensive lineman catching those punts. It's not easy. And it's always fun watching them catch punts. And, it's a good time back there.
I'm curious about this, and I played baseball in high school. It was so easy to lose a baseball up in the lights, and obviously a football's a lot bigger than a baseball, but those night games, is it easy to lose the ball up in the lights with everything going on up there, especially if you're looking up and down?
Oh, yeah, always. Like I said, not to, showboat about anything, but, my You Got Moss catch at Georgia, I lost the ball in the light. I literally just jumped. I literally just jumped when he jumped, and I just came down with the ball, but I literally lost the ball in the light. I'm not joking, but, yeah, man, those lights be so bright that, of course, the ball is like a little ant when it goes up in the air. So the ball gets lost real quick, and, you just gotta have a feel for where it's going to be at. And, of course, he'll come out the light, and then, you just be able to go make the catch and stuff. So.
That's how Nate Adkins, his catch against Clemson, he said that was kind of an accident a little bit. I mean, he said he just stuck his hand up and it just stuck to his hand.
Hey, sometimes miracles happen. I'm telling you.
He even brought, when he was bringing the ball down, the defender got a hand on it and he still held on to it. Pretty incredible. But on the special teams subject, Josh, so you always hear NFL teams, their rosters are limited, right? I mean, they don't have 85 paid guys on the roster. They don't have 100-something overall players like college football rosters do. They've got their 53-man, and then they got their practice squad and all that stuff. So you always hear that guys with special teams ability, whether it's coverage, return, have a greater chance of sticking. What kind of feedback have you gotten during this process just about what teams or, general managers, agents, what have they thought about that aspect of your game and helping you and the pros with it?
So far I got a call about 3 days ago, and the guy, he was definitely like, if you come here now, you'll definitely be our starting punt returner, just because, you did really good, really, really well this year, returning punts. Obviously, this past year didn't go, obviously it didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go, and definitely, the way that, all the fans were, projecting my final year to go. But, I just took advantage of all my opportunities, and, being back there on punt return, like I said, that was pretty much the only time I was getting the ball throughout the whole year. So I was like, I just got to make something happen. And, most of the times I did. Sometimes I catched it, but yeah, special teams definitely go a long way. Hopefully, God willing, that I'll be, in this next month and a quarter so far. If I get drafted somewhere, hopefully, I'll be playing receiver, and obviously, being able to have that extra attribute of, playing special teams and being a punt returner. Regardless, if I'm a punt returner, if I'm a gunner, like I said, like you said, it's a limited roster, so whatever I could do to be on the team, I'm going to do it. So, I got to do what I got to do.
Keep our conversation with Josh Vann rolling here on the Garnet Trust Hour on 107.5 The Game.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
And welcome back into the Garnet Trust Hour on 107.5 The Game. Tyler West and Chris along with you with our special guest today, former South Carolina wide receiver Josh Vann. And before that last break, we were talking a lot about special teams, and obviously that special teams is a big, important part of this South Carolina football team with Shane Beamer, obviously with his lineage, his dad and Beamer ball, but Pete Limbo is viewed as one of the best special teams coordinators in the entire country. What's your relationship like with Coach Limbo, and how do you feel like he set you up for success with your future career in the NFL?
Oh, Pete, that's my guy. Coach Limbo. I wouldn't say it was a love-hate relationship, but, Coach Limbo definitely got on my nerves sometimes, and I got on his. But at the end of the day, I've always found myself in his office, just talking football and talking about schemes and what I can do better, learning from him. And, obviously, these coaches, man, it's so much that they're like whizzes, man. They know so much. And, as a special teams coordinator, that sometimes that kind of goes unnoticed. But, like I said, he was a former head coach. So, he knew a lot of stuff, talking to me about receiver stuff when it comes down to blocking. And of course, like I said, he was a special teams coordinator. So, I was always in his office, just trying to figure out, how I can, talking about punt returns, what I can do this week to give me a good return, what we can do this week, what we can do that week. It was always different stuff. But, Pete's definitely my guy. I love him to death. And, he definitely set me up for hopefully a long run in the NFL.
Does Coach Limbo, have a movie or a story or a history lesson for every single meeting y'all have?
Everything. He always say, dang, what he used to say, everything is not as it seemed. Basically, like, when we work on special teams, it's half the battle. That's what he said. So he will obviously bring up, dang, what dang war was it? I forgot what war was it. But basically, like, they were coming up the two hills, but in the middle, it was like a whole dip. So, of course, it was half of what you thought was going to be. So, but, it was a whole lot. But basically, like, we working on special teams. If I'm working on, getting off a block, my teammate has to, do a good job of helping me do that as well. So he had a whole bunch of stuff. He always had some movie that translated to the practice today or what we was working on. It was a lot, man. Pete Limbo is, he's a guy of mystery. I would say that.
Interesting guy.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, but very successful. I mean, special teams at South Carolina have been exceptional for the last couple of seasons. And I guess I'm taking over this segment for Chris Clark. We got our half of an hour of work out of Chris. I think that's where he cuts off and just leaves. So we're going to bring Jeremy Smith back in as well. Jeremy, the Director of Operations over at Garnet Trust. And Jeremy, you and I were talking off air. This interview and then Josh's appearance tomorrow, I believe as well, is part of an NIL deal. And just kind of, do you want to tell those listening about how NIL is obviously about current student athletes, and a lot of people maybe think it's only about that, but I think at South Carolina and with Garnet Trust that there's a push to try to support South Carolina student athletes even beyond the 3 to 4 to 5 years that they are at South Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of folks, consider the university, its athletes, as part of their family, and for the Garnet Trust, these student athletes are our family, whether they're here on campus or they have left to do other things after school. And Josh is a perfect example of that. I made a commitment to Josh last year towards the end of the season that once he got rehabbed and got prepared for the NFL, that we wanted to make sure we did something for him. And today's that day, and we'll continue to work with Josh. But I was at an event last night, and we really stressed that it's not about the 4 years that you're at USC that matters. It's about the 40 years after. And so what we're trying to do is help prepare these student athletes to go into the real world and have some financial literacy, have some opportunities to build up their brand so that whatever they're doing, they can be successful in it.
Yeah, no doubt, and certainly important. I think we bring this up a lot, Jeremy, but maybe worth reiterating. The headlines sort of tend to go to the maybe to me like the bad sides of NIL and like, oh, this guy got offered this to leave a school and this guy got offered millions of dollars, where for the most part, NIL, I think, is about supporting your student athletes in their everyday life. I mean, Josh here obviously is a dad now. And, you have to carry on who is a dad now. And I think any way that the collectives like Garnet Trust and just fans out there can sort of give opportunities to support student athletes and former student athletes in their day-to-day lives for their real life situations probably needs to be spotlighted a little bit more, as opposed to like the headline grabbing, oh, this quarterback got offered $14 million, but then it didn't come through, and then that kind of steals the headlines.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always ask all the student athletes that we go into contract with, what are you planning to do with the money that you earn through charitable events or media content, et cetera? And every single one of them, the first thing out of their mouth is helping my family. And they usually go into very specific examples of helping their mother, their father, their siblings, their aunts, their uncles, and how that money is going to help them fulfill the needs that they have in their life. And I almost brought to tears every time that I have these conversations, because there's a lot of things we don't know. We see these individuals on the field and we just assume everything is great, but a lot of them have a lot of hard struggles. And I'm so blessed to be able to help facilitate some of those things that will give them and their families a little bit of relief while they're here at USC.
Josh, let's bring you back in on this convo, man. So we've done several Garnet Trust interviews on the computer with you, and you I think I even mentioned this at the time, man. You would always get this massive grin on your face when you're talking about your daughter, man. So how's the adjustment been to fatherhood, and what have you most learned in this last year or so as you've made that transition?
A lot. Patience, I would say that. Patience. I can't preach that enough. Definitely a lot of patience. Just because, I've learned a lot, especially, my daughter's routine. She'll wake up in the morning and she'll play. Then she'll start getting a little antsy. That's how you know it's time for her to eat breakfast. And she'll play again. And I just noticed it just be little stuff. If she just running and fall, she'll start busting out crying like freaking Jeepers Creepers chasing at her or something like that. And, you try to pick her up, she start crying. So that's how I know, okay, it's time for your nap. Okay, she'll take a nap for about maybe 1.5, 2 hours. Shoot, it could be 30 minutes. I hate when that happens because, that's my alone time. And next thing you know, I just hear some noise. I'm like, man. So, I gotta deal with her. Well, I'm not saying deal with her like it's a bad thing, but, take out her crib and she ready to play again. It's been a lot of stuff that I learned. And, saying obviously going off the train, I was gone for 2 months. So, not being around her every day really sucked, obviously, because, I was with her every day through the season. And, just having to go away for 2 months, it was really not depressing, but, just being accustomed to that lifestyle, seeing my daughter every day and to not seeing her for a whole 2 months. That was really hard. But, now I'm back in the house and sometimes I'm like, dang, I wish I'm back down in Florida. But, it's all good, though. And it's all good. And, I'm just thankful for her to even be here. So.
And we've had plenty of football players come through in the Garnet Trust Hour. We're very well aware of how chaotic the schedule is, especially during the season for you guys. So how do you balance being a full-time football player and student athlete at that with also being a father?
What'd you say? Sorry.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I just said we've had a lot of football players come through here on the Garnet Trust Hour. We know how chaotic the schedule is being a full-time football player and a student athlete at the same time. How do you balance all that with being a father too?
It was a lot. It was definitely a lot. But I just told myself not to make it harder than what it really needs to be. And everything that popped up in line, I was like, I just got to take care of this. She need diapers. She need wipes. Okay, I got to take care of this. So I know she's on top of that. Make sure I had everything down just so everything won't be last minute. I knew I had class, so I only had like one in-person class, the rest were online. So, the days I had to go in class, just making sure everything's, on top of everything. Of course, waking up every morning to go to practice, get out of practice, chill with Jenna for a little bit, then I'll have class. So, it's really just not stressing myself out because, like, the more you stress, like I said, patience. You got to give yourself patience and, tell yourself not to make it harder than what it really is, especially early on because, all she was doing was eating, sleeping, and pooping. And you just need to change the diaper. So I'm like, okay, that's really all I need to do. Just feed her, change the diaper, and, give her a nap, burp her. So I say, just not making it way harder than what it really needs to be. And, of course, I was just, ready to graduate, making sure I was taking care of my education. So, I always have that, in the back of my book. Says I'm very proud of my accomplishment to, graduate from college because, that was my original plan. It wasn't, play football. That was just God's gift. It was really more so getting my education and graduating. Like I said, I'm the second one in my family to graduate from a 4-year college. So, just to have that, on top of my head, that means more than everything to me. So
that's awesome. Wes, we've been with Josh for about 45 minutes. We haven't asked about food. We're definitely going to have to get that on the other side. As we wrap up today's edition of the Garnet Trust Hour with special guest Josh Vann from Gamecocks football here on 107.5 The Game.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
And welcome back into the Garnet Trust Hour on 107.5 The Game. Tyler, West, Chris, and Josh Vann along with you for a few more minutes. And I teased this before the break. Every time we have a guest in here, we have to ask some food questions. Are you a relatively healthy eater, Josh, or do you like to splurge?
So lately I've been eating healthy. Lately, just getting my body right. Obviously, training for a pro day. Don't want to go out there and eat 12 donuts of I eat something like that every now and then. Like I said, we had cheat days on Wednesday, so we'll have it'll be burger or some shrimp, chicken fingers, and they'll give they gave us a little red velvet cake. But normally, if I'm not preparing myself for anything, I wouldn't say I'll splurge, but I'm pretty solid on what I eat. Like I said, I was off air. I was, just talking that, my favorite food is chicken Alfredo. Like I said, but at the end of the day, I always go with an old fashioned cheeseburger. So, cheeseburger, some fries. Like I said, if you mess up a burger, there's something wrong with you. So.
Have you eaten 12 donuts before,
no,
or was that just an example?
I don't even remember the last time I've had donuts. Like I said, I'm not much of a sweet eater. Like I said, my fiance just made some brownies the other night, and I probably had 2 pieces of the brownie. But
you could have brought us some in here, Josh.
I could have.
I
had to change two dirty diapers before I came here already. So I wasn't thinking about brownies. All I saw was brown.
Yeah, that probably gets you out of the mood a little bit.
Yeah, it's it's too close.
What's going on the burger, man? If you had your absolute perfect burger,
well, one it'll be double. It'll be 2 patties.
We're here for it.
On it. Some days I'll put some mayonnaise on it, but I always have some ketchup and mustard on there. Obviously, cheese. Sometimes I like to do pepper jack, but of course I'll go with some regular old cheddar cheese, some lettuce, and some onions. No tomatoes. Don't do tomatoes.
Pickles.
Oh yeah, and some pickles
On it?
Yeah.
All right, good. Wes doesn't like pickles.
Nah,
Not
at all.
Not here. So you don't like tomatoes at all?
No, I hate
Yeah, I'm
tomatoes.
with
I
you.
don't think Chris does either.
Tomatoes are terrible.
They suck.
They do.
I
They're
don't even know.
slimy, vile.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who made tomatoes?
It's the red ring of death.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely
Wait, you
awful.
too, Tyler?
I've come around on them a little bit.
Yeah.
If they're on
3
it,
versus
I'll
1.
eat it, but I don't go out of my way to eat a tomato.
Not a raw tomato. Some people eat tomato sandwich.
Oh, yeah, that's so good.
Oh, man, that sounds like the worst thing ever.
Sounds horrible.
If you grow up in the country, man,
Yeah.
My mom eats those.
tomato, Duke's mayo, salt, pepper back in the day, that's a classic.
It's a meal. I do like tomato pie. And I like tomatoes and other things, but not raw. Absolutely horrible. All right, so Josh, when you ran your 40, you were not, your stomach was not logged with 12 donuts or a
no.
burger or anything like that.
Definitely not.
Josh was hauling, man.
Oh, at 443?
443. Hey, Josh, tell him what you ran. I think that was off air when we were talking about that.
Yeah.
So,
when I first was able to run after the injury, my first 40 was 469. So
Wow.
yeah, so to able to get that down to a 4.43, you know, that just speaks a lot to how hard I was training.
Did that time, be honest, did it surprise you in either way? Were you like, I think I'm going to run a little bit faster? Or was it like, man, I got after it? Like, that was a little bit better than I thought.
This Monday?
Yeah, on Pro Day.
Monday. I wasn't surprised just because, you know, running that 4.69, that was on laser. Obviously, you know, Pro Day was hand time, but I got it down in Florida. I got it down to a 4.44 laser. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I wasn't surprised at all to having that on hand time. You know, I thought it was going to be lower than that, but hey, I can't complain. You know, I got it down to a 4.44 laser time. And, you know, they clocked me in at a 4.43 there at Pro Day. So, you know, I was happy with the results. Of course, like, I know I'm not Flash Gordon or anything, but I knew a lot of people kind of mistake me for my speed. They don't think I'm fast. You know, but, you know, people will talk and they'll have all types of narratives about you. But like I said, I was just happy to be able to walk and run from that injury. So, you know, just to be able to go out there and run as fast as I did, you know, a lot of heads will turn, and, you know, so I'm just glad that happened.
Were you nervous at all for Pro Day?
Oh yeah, I was definitely nervous. It was like any given football game. You know, I said I get the butterflies before the game, and once I get out there, I'm good. Like I said, if it's football games, I catch my first pass, run my first route, get the first hit, I'll be good. Like I said, that Pro Day, when I got that first jump, which I'm pretty sure everybody was there and they saw that, and you heard everybody's reactions, I was like, yeah, man, all the jitters was out, and I was just ready to kill it for the rest of the day.
I feel like in some ways Pro Day can be even more nerve-wracking than a game because everybody's just like, they're looking at you. They're not looking at the team. They're looking straight at you.
You don't have no helmet on, so, you know, they'll see all type of facial reactions, all type of, you know, they definitely see your body language then. So, you know, you got to shake those nerves, and, you know, you just got to go out there and do. And you just got to go do it.
Real quick, when you talk about running a 40, and obviously, you know, you're talking about tenths of a second here, do you know when it's a good time and when it's not, based on just small little things that you feel over the course of those 4 seconds?
Oh yeah, you definitely know. Like I said, while I was training, it was a lot. It was it was all about the get off. That's what my coach was teaching me down there. It was the get off, and even running that 40 down there, I definitely felt myself like that first 2 steps. I kind of froze a little bit. Like I said, it's kind of hard to explain, but, you know, when you're out there running, you know, you'll feel it. But you know, just that difference. If you come out too high, if you pick your head up too early, you don't have that drive phase. If you run the 40 and you think it's a track meet and you try to lean like you cross the finish line, that'll slow you down. It's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it that will literally be, if you come out in the first 8 yards, you pick your head up, you'll run a 4.51. But if you keep your head down, you'll run a 4.46. So, you know, it's literally that much that can change the outcome of that run. So
I gotcha. Well, Josh, we certainly appreciate you joining us for the Garnet Trust Hour. And I don't know if Jeremy Smith's still in the studio as well, but we certainly appreciate him putting all this together for us, and look forward to seeing you out at the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Classic tomorrow as well.
Appreciate it, man. Thank y'all for having me today.
Absolutely. And we certainly wish you best in your future NFL career as well.
Thank you.
All right, that'll do it for today's edition of the Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game, Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs. Coming up next.